Hello, pour painting enthusiasts. Today I'm going to do another pour painting, but I'm going to create a specific shape using negative space. Now you may have seen some of my other videos where I've created flowers using negative space. Today I'm going to do the same approach, but it's going to be a different subject. I'm going to paint a buffalo today, and I realize this is an international audience, so I want to be more specific. It's going to be an American bison. So that said, let me show you what I've got going on here. I have a 12 by 12 canvas, and I have a dirty pour that I've created. There's gold, brown, red, pinks in here. I have some brown in here as kind of a buffalo color, but I don't want to be boring, and I want to be unpredictable in my buffalo color choices. So that's why I pick some bright colors, pinks and oranges and reds and stuff. And I also have some other colors, some of the same colors repeated on standby in case I need more, because when you pour this out, you never know what's going to show up. So if something that like for example, if the bright pink doesn't show, I've got some on standby, I can add it to it. So I'm going to start out with this 10-ounce cup is about half full of this dirty pour. And I'm going to create this background color, which is going to be the color of the buffalo. There's a few drops of silicone in some of these colors, but I'm not particularly reliant on silicone today to get cells. My main interest here is to get this buffalo shape, but of course cells are always fun. They add to the interest no matter what it is you're doing. So I'm going to get some coverage here. Tilt in all directions. Turn it so you can see what I'm doing here. Now, by some miracle, I'm going to face this to you, but then I'm going to turn it back my way. This here reminds me of a buffalo, without me asking it to. I already knew I was going to do this, but it's kind of given me an indication already. So I'm going to have to turn it my way. Maybe someday I'll learn to paint upside down, but for today I'm going to paint so the buffalo is facing me. I'm going to tilt it just a little bit. Let me see here. What do I want to do? I've got this little orangey color. This is going to be the center of the buffalo. I want to make sure that's interesting. Just going to add to it a little bit before I start painting negatively. When you do this, you never know if it's an improvement or not. I have some gold and black here. Just a little zing to the middle of the buffalo. I'm going to tilt just a little to kind of incorporate this. I'll turn it back your way. I'm going to let some of that run off. I don't want this to be too deep, too thick of a pour, because I'm getting ready to pour the negative shape. Anyway, this is what we're going to start with then. So what I have here to create the negative shape is some light blue. Basically, this is just white paint where I added some blue to it. And when I'm pouring real specifically, I put it in a paper cup because I can fold it and make a nice point. And I'm going to pour the top of the buffalo first. This is just going to be a profile. Those are the easiest. Again, this is just an impression, so we're not painting a photo of a buffalo here. It's just expressive. It's the essence. I'm just kind of playing in the paint now, and I'm creating his sharp, angular backside, top side. Now I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of the shape. I've been painting buffalo for a while. I just like their shapes. They're big, strong animals. They're interesting. They're very American. And I just have a lot of fun with their shapes. So now I'm going to tell this paint what to do a little bit more to make sure that I got the idea of a buffalo that I'm looking for. I've got my little small palette knife. So this light blue is the background. This is the negative space that I was talking about. His head's a little flat. They have big, strong heads. If you're going to do an animal or something, you have to kind of know what they look like before you start, or know what your idea of them is. I know when I first started painting buffalo, you don't see buffalo every day, so I had to look at pictures of them to see, okay, how are they shaped? And they really drop down. Their back, their shoulders high, they drop down fairly sharply. So I was like, okay. And then the more you do it, the more you get used to it, to how they look, how you want them to look. I'm going to add to his head here just a little bit with some of my standby colors. Let me see here. So I'm basically just pushing the paint back and forth. I'm going to push this head shape out a little bit. He's going right to the edge. They have a nice chin. There's his beard. There's the fur on his legs. His rear end goes off the edge, but that's fine. I do that. That happens a lot. Buffaloes are big and they don't always fit onto your canvas. Now I'm showing some little fur on top. They got nice strong shoulders. Don't be afraid to let your subject run off the edge. They don't have to be self-contained onto a canvas. If they run off the edge, that's totally okay. It's a very acceptable and actually can make it more interesting if you let him go off the edge. Now, I don't want to let his head go off the edge because typically the head is the focal point if you have a focal point. And if you're doing a flower, again, let some of the leaves run off the edge, maybe half part of the flower petal run off the edge. This is the main area of interest here. It's his head, it's his beard. We've got some nice cells here going on that runs right through his body, which I really like. And then you've got this nice contrasting really light blue. If I scrape this a little more, there'll probably be some cells come up, which I don't mind. We'll see if I can get a little of that underneath color to come up. And if it doesn't, that's okay. It doesn't have to be busy everywhere. This is a nice quiet blue. So this is obviously painted wet into wet. And the only thing I'm going to do when it dries is give him a horn. If I paint the horn right now, it might go everywhere. But this will be the final act in making this look like an American bison. Is this, I'll have probably a white horn, maybe with a little bit of yellow in the white, so it looks, I don't want it to look like the background. So you have to distinguish the white horn from the background. So his horn will probably be a little bit yellowish. But there you are, in pretty short order, is a buffalo shape. It's loose, it's the essence of a buffalo. It's fun. It's another way to utilize your paint pours. Try a shape, try something simple, try a flower, try whatever it is you like. Have some fun with it. Anyway, I hope this gives you some ideas of things you can do if you want to make. Okay, I decided after ending the first part of the video to add to this buffalo. It's just been a couple of minutes. It's still very wet. And I was looking at this buffalo shape. I really like it. I like the cells. I like the colors. But I have some black here and I want to define the outline just a little bit more. I'm using just a stick. I like sticks. I don't need brushes. So I'm just dropping some black into this wet image. And I'm dragging it around. Again, I'm not going to labor over this at all. But I thought a little definition would make it just a little bit of a stronger painting. So I wanted you to see this. And again, this painting is still just as wet as it was when I ended the first segment. Beards are very interesting, whatever they call the buffalo beard. I really like it. And they have kind of a stubbed off nose. Here's his front leg. The other interesting aspect to me is the fur on his legs, on his front leg. Make it very loose, impressionistic, but I think this strengthens the overall impact of this. Adding a little black. I can swirl a little up here too, because they're so furry up here. That's all I'm going to do. Okay, now, I said I wasn't going to do the horn until it's dry, but I thought there's no rules. I looked at this. Let's go ahead and do it while it's wet. I have some yellow. It's white paint, obviously, and I just added a touch of yellow to it because I want it to be different than the background. If it was the same blue as the background, it wouldn't look right. You want some distinction. This is kind of important, but yet it's loose. I'm looking at this upside down, so I'm estimating where the horn is. Starting out with a dot. Get enough paint there where I can move it. You don't want a little tiny horn. If you're going to put a horn in, make it have some impact. So I'm getting enough paint in here now. Now I'm going to drag it into the horn shape. There it is. Round at the bottom, curves, comes to a point. There's the buffalo. That's an improvement, I think, and I hope this helps you. Have fun painting your shapes, whatever shape you may want to paint, and we'll see you in the next video.